like he said, calls he was making, he was nervous, sweating, you know, etc. By the 300th call, I mean, it's still, it's not old hat, but I mean, pretty normal. It's pretty normal.
Are you just 1 or 2% as well?
No.
No, I understand the chairman.
I'm 20.
There you go.
And I'm 30% if you're a pain in the ass. And if you piss me off, I take the whole deal away from you. And I shove you in a toilet. And that's the truth. And they stabbed one of his best friends. He comes from a rough-ass part of town.
I saw the YouTube video.
Yeah. So they burned it down, and they stabbed one of his buddies.
Awesome.
Yeah, it can only happen. Well, it can happen anywhere, but his parents hate me for all the obvious reasons.
How'd they find out about his boxing club?
Because somebody saw it apparently on YouTube, and then they knew he's from that neighborhood. And the crab effect, to pull you back down into the pot, is pretty fearsome.
Super smart.
Yeah, oh, he's bright. He didn't sound like that in the beginning, but it's a great school, and he has that network, and his exams are over now, and so now he's smiling and dialing for dollars on the motivated sellers. He's done a great job. I found it interesting when he was talking, you guys are taking notes from a 17-year-old, as you should, okay? Because, I mean, he's ahead of the curve, and he's doing a fantastic job, and I will be highly surprised if we don't buy something here during the summer. I mean, but you don't have to be 40 and 20, or you can be a teenager, as he is. And he says, follow the steps. Now, one thing that he did bring up that I don't know why I didn't think of it, there are companies that you can go to that can find you directors. I don't know why it never dawned on me to do it on a rolling fee. I'm pretty fucking smart, too. He's the first guy that ever thought of that. I don't know why, God damn it. Well, anyway, I didn't think of it, so I mean, but unlike the other boys, I'm not taking credit for it. The other guys you follow, it would be their idea now. Yes, sir. He's your age.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Go ahead. Don't smile too much. Don't get crazy on me now. Okay, go ahead.
So you can use headhunter firm.
No, it's not a headhunter. There's a senior thing now, thing you got. But they're not headhunters. They're placing for non-executive director placements. That's what it is. But they charge normally 40% of the fee. If you count it against bonuses on deals, I mean, you could pay them a couple $100,000. But I didn't think about rolling it. Anyway, there are some that will roll the fee. But he only got one of the, he uses it as a backup now because when he throws somebody off, he can go to them. And I think he's only used them once. But there are firms, but rolling the fees is no pressure on you, no risk on your part. And how he decided on healthcare, telco, healthcare, bedpans. Instead of spreadsheet, secondary and tertiary spreadsheets. And as long as there's people like my age, or the last generation and a half, there's an endless amount of healthcare opportunities around the world. And some of the takeaways, what are your thoughts? Yes, sir.
I thought it very interesting that he said the QLA process changes your mindset. So you have a different mindset, but as you do it, your mindset can change.
Correct. Any questions about, yes, sir?
So the rolling fee, you're talking about paid to the company that has the website?
No, they find you a director, and then you pay them. If they find you somebody and you use them, then you owe them a fee.
And what was he referring to when he was talking about Josh Kim's vesting schedule?
Well, Josh, because he's gone through 2-3 chairmen, a couple CEOs, mainly because he's young and he picks the wrong people. A lot of the kids now are using a vesting schedule. Let's say you're going to give your CFO 5%, give him 1% now, give him 1% in a year, 1% or 2% in the next year. That's the vesting schedule, not the 1/12. Now watch, she's gonna make me eat my words. Watch, all the directors are gonna go in for 1/12, and I'm gonna, have said that it would probably not be as beneficial to her. But most of the youngsters use a vesting now because I'm not there. I don't pick your fucking boards. Even when I'm the chairman, I don't pick the fucking boards. And so to mitigate the lack of experience, now after you have 2 or 3 board members, you can ask those 2 or 3, what do you think of this board member? But when you start from scratch, zero, you don't have any experience, and most teenagers have never put together a world-class board of directors. Duh. So.
What percentage equity did he offer? Each of the board members?
Well, he said 1 or 2%, more for the CFO. He didn't go into it, but I believe the CFO got 5. The CEO, I believe, got 8. And he's certainly not the CEO. He is the, whatever that term, founding director. Some of the kids call themselves business development director, because that's what you are. You're out hustling money and deals. Like he said, calls he was making, he was nervous, sweating, etc. By the 300th call, I mean, it's not old hat, but I mean, it's pretty normal. It's pretty normal.
Are you just 1 or 2% as well?
No.
No, I understand the chair.
I'm 20.
There you go.
And I'm 30% if you're a pain in the ass. And if you piss me off, I take the whole deal away from you. And I shove you in a toilet. And that's the truth. But he's the best boxer we've had. He's 6 feet tall, he weighs about 200 pounds, 195, 200, but he's fast as shit. While these other guys were dancing around, he was hitting them 3 or 4 times. And then towards the end, you know how Sugar Ray Leonard used to dance around and go like that? He started doing that. That's when he got knocked out. Not knocked out, knocked down for the moment. Then he stopped doing that smart ass shit because he thought he was, we don't have Sugar Ray Leonards normally in the class. But but I didn't know they were boxing at night. I'm the last one to know. I didn't know they were going into the gym. I'm just happy nobody got hurt because we don't have a ref in there. And I'm told that some of them were turning into brawls and they're on the ground, and more than 2 people in the ring and shit, just like back home. It's like a bar. We had an Irish guy who was obviously a barroom brawler. I mean, this guy from Dublin, you could tell the way he fought in the ring that he had been rolling around on bar floors before. But anything else about the kid? Although he's a remarkable kid for sure. Yeah.
Like just some really good sales angles in terms of some serial acquisitions and like these.
Yeah, but I mean, all that stuff. He only used the templates. He didn't come up with this shit. He just used it. We don't ask you to invent. He didn't invent that one thing, but we don't ask you to invent it. We just ask you to use it. Yes, sir.
He did say solve your problem with output.
Because when he would get on the Zoom or he'd send me a report, and when you say, what are your, what am I not telling Dan? I mean, I don't seem to be able to getting the results, and I'd say it's because of output. You just need to double the calls, triple the calls, because it's a numbers game. It just is, and there's a gazillion people out there, and there's a lot of healthcare possibilities, and there's, I don't know how many people are listed on LinkedIn, but I don't know, millions. Okay, and they're all there they have one thing in common. They want to do business. Some of them in marketing, some of them in advertising, some of them in accounting, some of them in finance. But the bottom line is they all have one thing in common, and that is they want to do business. And it's a perfect platform for us. It's absolutely perfect. And it's easy. I mean, some of the guys, we didn't listen to those webinars this time, but one of the guys who's been very successful, he got his chairman. He sent a request. Within 2 or 3 minutes, he got a reply. Within 5 minutes, he had the guy's email address. And within 15 or 20 minutes, he had him as potential chairman. That person wasn't a teenager, but I mean, that person, and the more credibility you have, and it's important what you write on your profile. The last thing, don't bullshit. Whatever you do, don't bullshit, because they find you out. They find you out. But he will be, and he hasn't even tapped into where he went to school yet. Just because he's done all this, well, now he's a graduate, but I mean, he hasn't tapped into it. And here in the UK, it's a big deal.
They'll have an old boys club or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. He has, I'm trying to think, he has, we have Eton, we have Harrow, we have Oxford, Cambridge. We have all the big schools, basically, but forevermore, he's Churchill. Oh, nobody asked him about his age. He doesn't look as young, okay? But he couldn't leave the school grounds because you're locked down. And the other guy, who's in Leeds, I mean, and he's recruiting people in London. That's not a 20-pound cab drive. So I mean, so when they asked me, and I said, I make exceptions. I mean, if you're recruiting all the way across the world, but the one guy that he's got on the board that is from America, says he'll travel on his nickel. And when you sell them right, and they see the opportunity, and they see all those bodacious stats that you put in your executive summary, I mean, they will. For some of these guys, this is their last opportunity to get a big chunk of change vis-a-vis the free founders equity when you cash out, when you exit. And they know it, and you don't have to explain that to them. They understand what that means. They understand. I mean, the potential directors. It's not something that you have to explain to them. Yes, sir.
Do you remember who Jason's chairman was?
Nagy? No, I don't.
Australian guy.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we keep it local down there.
Yeah. I once said the Adelaide Mafia. And he just kind of smiled. You know, he didn't answer me. He neither confirmed nor denied. But we had a guy from Adelaide, the last seminar. Yeah, and I mean, and he was looking up Jason like he was Moses or something, you know. And they all say Murdoch came from Adelaide, and I said, yeah, I know, but he left. I mean, you know, that's like saying Moses was born in Jerusalem. Yeah, well, I don't know where he was born, but yeah, but he left. And so we showed you the two kids at the end to show you. I mean, just, you know, we have one kid in here. You're all kids to me, but we got one real kid. He sounds pretty polished, but I mean, you don't have to be a movie star, but you just got to follow the steps. Any other, yes, ma'am?
When he was doing all the cold calling and couldn't leave off campus, did any of them ask him to meet in person?
Yes, a couple, and he alluded to that, and I happen to know. And he said, I have to meet you on the weekend because he didn't tell him that he was locked down and he couldn't get leave campus. But he met, the ones he's met in person, he met on the weekends. When I was in London 3 or 4 trips ago, I met him Friday night. He was able to get away. The Harrow campus looks like Harry Potterville. I mean, it's the kind of place it is. It's very, very lovely, very picturesque. But some of the kids, and I told you, Josh has only been asked about his age once, and it's after he's already done deals. Being young and being successful is accepted now because of the internet, kids. When before, I mean, you'd be 17 and asking these guys and they'd be saying, you know, what are you smoking, kid? I mean, but now it's part of that's the good thing the millennials and the kids younger than the millennials have brought to the world, because now it's readily acceptable. You can be a kid and be super successful and make a lot of money. I mean, a kid. And before, I mean, for those of us that are of a reasonable age, you know that if you were 17-year-olds and you're trying to build a board of directors, nothing's impossible, but pretty much impossible. You've seen kids. Any other questions about him? Okay, YouTube, thank you.